Hey people, this is the story of the black and the blue. I don't know where this is going. I'm a read this in the blind. I read this yesterday where black was kicking his donkey, and I kind of figured out what it was talking about. You know, the donkey is said to carry Saturn. Saturn's the black planet. And the ancient writers imaged Saturn riding on a donkey is because it moves really slow. But I'm going to start over here in the Greek and show y'all something you might think's kind of funny. The angel opposes Balaam. And you know, opposes, that's an astrology word. But if you find these words that have these huge translations and look at them a little closer, you see it says in day balling, to stand in the way of an adversary against. Ballin is the ancient word for war, a fight. Same as today, boy, every Sunday we play in ballin. In day ballin. And here's another one that's real funny down here. To crack the whip. Mastissay. Mastisay. Crack that whip. Master say. And so I believe the whip they're talking about is up the yard arm, and this would be called the River Jordan, but it's actually the yard, and so there's rules for where the flags fly in the yard, and this will probably help explain some. I was a bosun mate. I wasn't a signalman. I can read some of this, but I don't get it all yet. And so, this word to yammer, you know, I said several movies back, you know, I give it the meaning word and to make AMR word, and I said that it's liable to change as I learn. And what I've figured out is this is the word Homer. And if you look at ancient Greek writings of Homer, there is no H. It's just Omer, Homer, same as this, Homer. And so this first WY is Y, and it's an ancient English word that means how or who. And Omer is an ancient word that means command. Not word, but command. Who command? You can see here it comes from Aramaic, Omar is to command. Arabic, to command. Who command from a yell. So they got this said in God backwards. This is the word for said. And this is the word for God. You know, who's in command of the boat? That's God over there. To Homer. Who Homer? And so, and this is the word they say is Balaam. But this final M is an S. And this is BLOS, blows. And both of these words are change meaning. They'll change this B to a V. It's like say this is poetry and they're teasing words and they're giving information, but they're trying to make it amusing at the same time. So I'm going to start up here at the top. And so this black and blue, this is Saturn, and I believe this blue means Neptune. You know, there's two blue planets, Earth and Neptune. I believe we're talking about Neptune here, but it's possibly Earth. We might figure it out as we read this. But this is how why so SOWY SO2, and this is where your word wise come from, and it's to make S secret C2. If you make the secret C2, you might become wise. And if you're asking, you know, how so, that's how you learn. Ask the question. And so it's how so too, how the secret C2. Bing is a mark of time. Bing. So how so too Bing his rule. The wise C2. Bing his rule. IS his rule. In charge. Which knew. W-I chet is C-H. Which N-U. New is a new, is in the cycle connected. The cycle connects, it's new. And the which means which one, as in to make divide. Which new. In orbit. N-O-R-V-U-T. This is sometime a V and sometime it's a B. But in orbit, we have all our planets on planes of orbits. An orphan is also a raven, and he's in orbit when he's waiting on the carnivores. They done killed something and they're eating, and he's waiting on them to leave. He circles above, waiting for them to leave so he can go pick the bones. In orbit. Move. The orbit move, and this is move as in M-O-V-E, and mu, M-U, is still Greek for frictional constant. Is what it takes to move something. You got to beat the frictional constant, M-U, mu. The power's in. And see, the B doesn't have the dot in it, it's a V. To move. To move from over, O-V-R. Move from over of the yard and yard. To make first, to work first through. R-D is to RDN, reading. First you have to read the flags on the yard arm, the flags on the mast. Mast says. Read the flags. Of year. The year to. And you see this word Jericho, they'll change the spelling of it in several different ways. It's got several different spellings, and not just the first letter, but they'll change other letters in between because it doesn't mean Jericho. But in the story of Jericho, how they marched around the city, to march around, and that means the year to. And to make first, Yad Resh, I-R, make first, divide to. First, you divide to the year, and if I'm telling you a story, it was back in the year when I was young, back in my 20s, back in 1981, the make first, divide to is the year. Of the bind, the yard, and year to. And so it's telling you, you learn the symbol of the year. So in all these stories, you figure out what the code name is for the planets and what the code name is for the astrology, for the signs, and you figure out what planet's in what sign, and you go back and figure out what year it was. So all together in ancient English, this reads, the wise see to bing his rule, which knew in orbit, move from over, of the yard and year. So if you're new here, I'm going to read all these words starting with A backwards. So instead of A-T, this is going to be T-A or 2. And everything following this tack, I'm going to read it backwards and forwards. So then it's going to be rup supper instead of supper. And that's in the word Hebrew. That's what it actually means. The brew, B-R-U, in first two. And they were brewers. They had all the secrets. So this is where black been first up its super two. First up, R-U-P, first up, and X is T-S, to super. Super is above. It would be the super on the top. The super. Where black been first up its super to. The colors assure this whose is rule of Homer make. His rule of Homer make. Homer, the command of command make. So on a naval ship, when the captain's gone, they'll run up the substitute. And it means, the captain's not here, we have a substitute captain. And so these substitutes, they're also used for letters. And so if you're writing a word and you're running out of letters, you can replace a substitute. And this will mean the third letter that was up there, wherever you put this is the third letter again. To eager, move from place, those made curve, like a grade curve. When you take the highest grade and see how many questions they missed and cut that many questions off everybody else's test, to make a grade curve. And too eager to move in from place, to move too soon, those made the curve in of who to make fix the move from place time is rule. So to eager to move from place, those made curve of who. When the captain's gone, then now the XO is now the captain. And then the third officer, well, he's now the XO. He's now number 2. Everybody, gets made the curve. Everybody steps up one rank. When the captain dies, everybody else steps up one rank. They're eager to move from place. Who Homer? Who's in charge? The mobile, move of. Something can be moved, it's mobile. Who in charge is mobile? Inks infini, backwards and forwards. INQZ, inks finish. When you're planning something, you plan it in pencil, and when you got it all figured out, then you ink the finished copy. The inks finish, made in, out. It'll check to the fell tackle when it in making survive it into. So the fell tackle, this is the word kind of evolved from people not understanding that this means to read this backwards and forwards, but it's the TALKL, or the tackle. But this is fell tackle. These are all fells, and they have a different name for different types of tackle. And it'll be talking about this luff tackle here. When it in make in survive it into, call check this where to jerk the side to in luff been first up its super from like of move, from the first up its super from like. The word king comes, it means more of elected, ELK, elect. The one that you like is the one you elect. But that's what this means, is from like. If you're the king, you like it. From like of move. He's the first super. He's liking a move. He's the captain now. In at the who. Liking his place in at the who. So this all sounds a little strange, but if you read ancient poetry, 400-year-old poetry, you'll see it's the same. They twist these words around in order to get this rhyme with the to and the who. Bout the who. Of move, bout the who. Rhyme with the to. And if y'all hit them like buttons down there, I'll know what y'all liking the most, and I'll go on with them. I know I got a bunch of different folders and been in a bunch of different places, but this is the ones I like the most. Is the ones at C. I like the C. And so this is kind of long. I'm gonna cut this off here, and best chances are I'm gonna finish this off. And you can see the first word on the 5th, to make sail. And he sent. Who sail? Yeah, why sail? Who sail? How sail? From lackum. The messengers and the angels are all the same. They're from lackeys. LAKIS. from the lackeys. They're not good at fighting, but they make good lackeys. They make good messengers. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.